Hi everyone, I'm Sanjana and I have Gaurav with me today to talk about field marketing. Hi Gaurav, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey Sanjana, thank you so much for inviting me. Glad to be here and talking.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining today, Gaurav. So Gaurav is currently the Assistant VP Marketing at Netcore Cloud. And today we're going to talk about the role of field marketing in the B2B landscape. So shall we get started?
Absolutely.
Great. So before we jump into the questions today, Gaurav, can you give us a background about your career journey so far? Like where did you start and where are you now?
Sure, absolutely. So right. So overall, I have 13 years of marketing experience all into B2B SaaS. So I and it has been like, across different marketing functions. So I started my journey with an organization called Piper Research. There I worked for 6 months. It was a research company. And after that, I joined Cvent, like which I consider kind of my first job because after 6 months there, a very short stint out of my college, and I joined Cvent, and then I was there with Cvent for like almost 12 years, little more than 12 years,
Oh,
right? Yeah,
okay.
and I recently, like a couple of months back, moved to Netcore Cloud. So yeah, I think I'll start from Cvent. So Cvent, started small with market research, but then Cvent was a very small company back then. Like it grew, it exploded over the last 10 years, and same happened with the marketing division. So I got an opportunity to actually work across different marketing functions. When I joined there, it was like 2, 3 different small sub teams within marketing. Over the 10 years, it became like one of the finest marketing engine in the industry, right? So from 5 functions to 50 functions within marketing we're talking about. So basically got an opportunity to hop around in different marketing functions, create a lot of marketing functions and teams working for different industry. Like demand generation has been my core from the beginning, but overall, if I talk about market research, then I started market research, then went into vendor management, then did product marketing for a bit, then did a lot of campaign management, demand generation, then finally landed into the field marketing role back in 2015. Right, and for
Okay.
the past 6 years, I'm into the field
Yeah.
marketing, regional marketing role. So yeah, it has been a great opportunity. I think what I did throughout, like hopping on different roles within marketing, kind of gave me an understanding and wider perspective of marketing, and that's what led me to get to the field marketing role, like where you have to look at marketing broadly, like broader perspective of marketing. So yeah, it has been an exciting
Got
journey
it.
so far, and
Yeah. Working for a company for more than 12 years is massive, right? Like what made you stay with that company? Did you
sure.
did you
So
not have a thought? Did you not have a thought of switching over?
no, so absolutely. I think I had some time, but I think the culture of Cvent kept me going. Like, I think
That's great.
it takes a lot from the top layer to create that culture, which
Yeah.
makes people stick to the organization. Of course, we keep on getting different hooks over the time, be it promotion, be it salary hike, be it different learning.
Yeah.
See when I said, but in the nutshell, what I'll say is that because I joined a small company, it exploded. The marketing function
Yeah.
exploded. So the learning opportunities were massive. Like I
Exactly.
never really felt that for a year I'm doing the same job. Like it's continuously evolving. Continuously evolving. So you feel redundant, you feel bored when you're doing the same job over and over. Was never the case. So I will say that kept me going, like opportunity to do newer things, different functions, new roles, and innovate a lot of things. So I think that kept me going for a really long time at Cvent. And at the same time, I think hats off to Rishi Agarwal, like who built that culture in Cvent that
Really great.
not me, I think dozens and hundreds of people really stay there for a long time. So that kept me going. But at the same time, I'm
Awesome.
excited about my move. I recently joined Netcore Cloud in
Yeah.
May, and here now I'm heading the field marketing team for APAC, Middle East, and Africa. Recently started doing Europe also, so it's APAC and EMEA region largely.
Yeah.
Like here, I'm kind of
Okay.
building the team from scratch, functional team
Great.
from
Great.
scratch.
Great. I think you're the right person to answer this question. So we'll start from what is field marketing, and I see a lot of people confuse field marketing with customer marketing, regional marketing. So we'll cover that as well later today. But Can you
Sure.
can you give us an explanation to what is field marketing?
Sure, absolutely. See, for me, field marketer at the core, which is expected out of every marketer, is like the marketer knows the brand promise, the products very well, the value which you are providing to the market. Of course, you have to really understand that well as at base, as expected from any marketer. Now coming to the main thing, the field marketer, as the name says, you have to understand the field really well, like who you are
Okay.
selling to. India as a market will be different than UK as a market or Singapore as a market, right? So you have to really, there are different market nuances, different market dynamics which are different. And of course, you don't your GTM for every single country, every country can't be same. It can't be same GTM to the globe, right? That doesn't work. So you have to be really closer to the market, understand the market well, understand the persona well to whom you're selling, their problems well, then their challenges, and what are you solving, right? And then basically position yourself that way, right? So you're closer to the market. Then you are basically very closer to your sales team, your sales army, that what are your goals for the market, for the field. For example, a regional marketer for APAC, okay, you have certain goals for the market you're trying to hit, that you're trying to grow by that much, you're trying to create your brand, like you know what are your goals for the market. So you're very well connected with the sales team. So, and then looking at, okay, what are your growth, what are your sales goals for the for the field, and how the field is, basically you kind of create a plan, which is your marketing plan. Okay, this is what is required for this market to hit our goals, organization goals or sales goals which we have. And then you basically align all of that with your marketing teams, right? Okay, this is what is required as a marketing plan in Indonesia. This is what is required as a marketing plan for, let's say, India, right? So basically, okay, you understand the market, you understand your organization and your sales goals for that market, and then you basically align your marketing teams to make that marketing plan and execution happen, right? So that which leads to your business goals, which ultimately, of course, will be a lot of money which you're trying to close from that market, and will build your brand, right? So field marketer is somebody who basically, and so a big part of it is basically like being a bridge between the marketing and sales team. See, you'll see a lot of time marketing has different functions. It has ABM, it has events, it has like growth, it has digital. So there's so many functions to it. And most of the organizations, you will see that these roles are basically, or these teams are global in nature, right? There's a central events team who's looking after events globally, right? Now that's where field marketer comes in. Okay, this is what kind of events do we need basically in this market? This is the kind of messaging we need. This is the kind of formats we need, right? And then you plan with them accordingly and make that happen. So field marketing for me, and see, field marketing is a little tricky because in a smaller company, a field marketing would be a little different than a mid-size and large company. And I think same goes for most of the marketing roles, right? So I'm talking about a small to mid, where you're very well connected to the field, you're connected to your sales team, and then you're basically connected to your marketing team, and you're like, getting them all together for your regional marketing planning and execution. That's the thing. Now, as you get to little bigger organizations, like, mid-size or little large organization, then your role little expands. Why? Because see, as the SaaS companies grow, a lot of your business comes from your existing customers. Now field marketers or regional marketers, right? They are concerned about the business coming from the region, right? Now, be that coming from prospects or be that coming from customer, it's all mine, right? So if I have to grow my business in Indonesia, if I'm able to expand our customer base more, sell more to them, that is what will grow the region, right? So that's where prospect and customer marketing basically comes in, and basically. Right. Sorry, what I was talking about.
That's the whole idea of field marketing. I get it. But the one thing that piqued my interest from your answer is you said that understanding the market is very critical, right? As a field marketer, how do you actually do that? How do you understand the market? Do you go on calls with your sales team every week, or do you go on calls with your customers? Like, do you have any tips? Because for an entry-level marketer, this is something that they don't get. They don't know how to understand the market. So like, what can they do to start understanding the market?
Absolutely. See, I think, one important part, best case scenario, if you are in the field, nothing like it. I think that's ideally should be the scene, that you're in the field, so you understand the field a little more. You are more in touch with the audience there, meeting your customers, meeting your prospects, being on the land, meeting with the partners, agencies, community. That's the best way to understand, right? But even if you're not there, like if you're remotely being a field marketer, I think so you have to understand what do you want to understand about a market. Like, okay, how the marketing dynamics are, what's your competitive landscape looks like, right? Which are the top industries you have there, which works for you, or which will probably work for you? What are their use cases? What are like, you know, based on that, how do you want to take it to the market? So I think if you have local, see, the one big thing which I do all the time is I have local regional sales. Most of the time you'll see, well, sales is the first person, sales is the first division in any company which goes to the field, right? Follows by customer success and marketing, right? So I generally have sales people there in the field. So I make sure to talk to them every day. Like I am talking to them every day. I think they become a very big source for me to understand the marketing, because they are talking to the prospect customers day in, day out. That's their job, right? So I think they become a very big medium for me. Second, talking to prospects, talking to customers directly, right? That's very important, right? A sales, again, internal teams think little internally, and customers' use cases literally vary from every single customer to customer. Even if you're talking about the 2 e-commerce companies in India using NetCore, their use cases, their challenges, their aspirations are different, right? So talking to customers gives me a lot of prospective, like existing customers, on how they're using our solutions. That gives me a very good insight about the market, like what people are looking for and what should we be marketing, how should we be talking, that one. And of course, talking to prospects, like, you know, talking to prospects, doing different webinars or meeting them in person, right? And one-on-one conversations sometime on. So I think talking to sales team, number one, I say talking to your customers, talking to your prospects, that's number two. Be it over the phone, be it meeting them in person, that's number two. And of course, Google. Like, you know, you got to understand the market at best. You have to stay updated on the trends, right? Not that, okay, if I'm selling in Singapore, for example, I have to stay updated on, okay, what's happening there? What's the big news? What's happening in the industry? What is the competition doing? What are the other industry players doing? So I have to stay updated on that. So that's very secondary research, or like staying on top of trends for those different markets. That's another big thing. Then if you have partners, or if you have other people there in the field, like, you know, or you have maybe your colleagues, for example. So like, for example, you have a network, you have marketers sitting in London, who you know, and you want to serve that market. Speak to them, speak to local marketers on the ground there, and try to understand, okay, what works, how it works, and things like that. So I think talking to different people, I think that's number one, be it sales, be it customers, be it prospects, be it different marketers in that region. And of course, staying on top with the trends there. I think those are the things which I'll say.
Great. I think that's a great start to the session. Right. So my next question is, do you think field marketing roles are exploding lately? And what do you think is the scope for a field marketer in today's B2B landscape?
Sure. So yeah, field marketing role, as you rightly said, they have been exploding lately. You're seeing around, there's so many openings out there, so many openings in the last 2 years. And see, there are a couple of reasons to it. One big reason, I think that says it all. We see field marketing role, we're seeing a lot in B2B SaaS, right? SaaS, let's say in SaaS, you know, is an exploding space. Last 2 years, we have seen what's happening, right? Companies starting and skyrocketing like anything. Like how many unicorns have we got this year? 30, 31 or 32 already?
Not sure, like, but it's huge.
Around that, right? We're losing on the number. We used to stay on track. Okay, now we have 20, we have 21. We lost numbers every day coming, right? So look at the speed, rocket speed at which companies are growing. Basically, you create a product which you can scale. If it's a brilliant product, has some business logic, to mass, you can literally go around the world and people can use it, right? So companies are basically coming up with something and going around the world. And now as they grow, they realize, one strategy, the whole world doesn't work. Now I think we are getting a very good traction from US or from Australia. We got to focus there. And if we focus more there, we can get a lot more. That's where your field marketing, regional marketing role comes in. And companies decide, okay, now we're going to have field marketer for this market or for that market, the top markets which are working for you, like they have immense potential. Let's go on. So I think that's the reason I'll say, like, evolution of B2B SaaS and the potential through which companies are growing. And I think that's creating a lot of opportunity for field marketers. Because now suddenly a company coming out of, let's say, India, and like suddenly selling to the world, and it's growing like anything. So that's when basically
they need someone.
That's creating, I feel. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's creating a lot of opportunity for field marketers. Okay, we want people who specialize, who understands the market better, and can help us penetrate and grow, like, faster. So that's why I think that's why it's the biggest reason, probably. Exploding SaaS space.
Yeah, got it. So, like you said that you are in the field marketing role for the last 6 years. So, can you tell us, like, what are the challenges you have faced in this role so far?
So challenges, okay, right. So challenges, that's interesting. Again, challenges vary from different organization to different organization as the role varies. Like my stint with Cvent field marketing was very different than what I'm doing field marketing at Netcore Cloud. So it varies, but in nutshell, I feel two things. One, which I think said earlier to you, field marketer, as the name says, field. If you're not sitting in the field, that becomes a big problem, right? Staying in touch, really being really know the know-how of the market every day, staying very, very connected to the market, to the customer, the prospects, to the industry. It becomes difficult, right? So I think if you're remote, if you're a remote field marketer, which happens a lot of time, for example, including me, right, then that becomes a problem. Number one. And also at the same time, see, we a lot of time feel like I spoke about, I look after APAC, Middle East, and Africa. Now we talk about 50 plus countries here, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. Even if I pick my top ones, there would be like 8 countries, which are my tier 1 countries, which I'm going after, right? Now we're talking about 8 different countries and I'm not there. Right. So I think that sometimes creates a problem. When the world was fine pre-COVID, it was comparatively very easier because you could travel more often. You can, you could stay in touch with the market again, at least. Now, of course, remotely not being able to travel, not being there on the field and not being able to travel to the field also, that's basically creating some gap. I feel that's one thing. It has to do a lot with COVID and the recent, obviously, the travel restrictions which you all face. That's number one. Number two, I say from the internal marketing, from the marketing execution perspective. See, regional marketing, field marketing is always a lean team. You'll never see that the 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, unless in a field regional marketing. Because the idea is, okay, you're thinking about the overall marketing for the region, but again, in the end, you're not executing everything. Like, okay, you have teams, you have demand generation, you have product marketing, you have basically events, you have different marketing functions who are supporting you, right? So it is generally always a very lean team. So it involves a lot of juggling around the team, and it's not a big team. So a lot of those are kind of individual contributor roles, right? So
got it.
So I think that's one thing I'd say. Second is basically, as I said, a big part of the job is to bring the marketing and sales together, right? For the common goals, common vision, common plan and execution in the region, right? Which in itself is difficult. Like, we're talking about a lot of stakeholders here, right? Like, if I talk about sales, they're like 10 people, 20 people, right? If I talk about marketing, I have 10 different marketing sub-functions I'm talking about, right? ABM, growth, digital, events, planning, so many teams, right? And now we're talking that, okay, I have my regional priorities. This is all what I want to do. Not dictating, of course, it comes mutually, working with the teams. Okay, product marketing, of course, they are best expert at product marketing, and I have little knowledge on the field. So working together, we think that, okay, this is what we should be doing, right? But we're talking about a lot of different teams here and juggling with a lot of teams, different teams here, and they all have KPIs for their functions, right? Might not have the KPIs decided for every region also, right? But I am a regional marketer. For me, it's a region. So I think juggling between, like, you wear so many hats, different marketing hats, and juggling between the teams, that kind of becomes challenge. Getting everyone together, it's an interesting, it's an impactful thing to do, but it's difficult. So being candid there. Right. So I think these are the two, I think. And one more thing, which is not a big, which is a challenge in a positive, like I look at it as a positive way, but it is a challenging situation. Like we say, sales has a more challenging job than marketing, because the numbers, everyday numbers you're talking about, like, you have to get that. And see, field marketing is a very business marketing kind of role. It's very aligned to business, right? Like if you talk about my main KPIs, the KPIs generally start from, okay, this is the amount of business we have to get from this region, which is basically your sales goal, right? So you start from there, then you do a reverse calculation. Okay, for this one, we need this much of pipeline, this much of SQL, this much of MQL, and things like that, right? So you also have those kind of goals, very number-driven goals, from MQL to your, pipeline. And the way you're looking at the dashboards every day for sales, you're looking at the dashboards every day for holistic marketing, right? Now, there are days when the leads are not coming from this market, or the pipeline is not moving for this market, or the deals are not coming from that market. Like when you have those numbers, when you have all these numbers on your KPI, it becomes challenging. So, which is good, which I love. Like even
good challenge to have.
Yeah, but that's a good challenge to have. But yeah, that's a challenge. For sales team, you become one person, one POC for marketing sometimes, right? Okay, he's my regional marketer, right? Okay, anything marketing, I go to this guy. So then you basically get a lot. So yeah, sales is after you, which is good, but which is also bad in some ways. So overall, I think it becomes challenging having all those numbers in mind. But yeah, that's a good challenge to have, but it's a challenge like every day.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. So I see that, you handle specific regions like APAC and EMEA. So like, how do you approach the regional marketing role? Like, do you have any framework or playbook that you want to share with us?
Sure. So see, when I think about the regional marketing playbook, again, varies. But in my role, like how I am thinking about it these days, and what's working for me, what's my regional field marketing strategy, is, see, I look at it like, okay, look at it like a three pillar game plan. Okay, you have, first of all, on the top, you absolutely have to be first thinking about your basic messaging, product marketing stuff, right? Like, what is your GTM, what is your messaging, which products you're taking to the market, how you're taking to the market.
Exactly.
So you have to be thinking about it. That's the top layer. After that, there are 3 more layers. See, when I think about it, what do we really want to get out of a regional field marketing role? Or let's say, what is company really looking for from any country on which they're putting a marketer? They're looking for money, they're looking for deals, they're looking to get their product out, expand, have clients, expand, get the money. So money is number one thing, right? You want deals and dollars. Number 2, you want to create a brand, right? You want to create a brand that over the time you are able to grow, you get more organic and easy closures ultimately. So 2 things: one, you want to sell more into the region. That's why you're putting a regional marketer on top of any for any country. And then you want to build a brand. So coming back to my framework, as I said, okay, on the top is the messaging layer, like, because the way I am taking, let's say, NetCore customer engagement and experience stack to Indonesia market is different than how I'm taking it to the Vietnam market, and is different to how I'm taking to different countries in Europe. Right?
Yeah, of course,
it is different. Just to right. So just to give you an example, like Indonesia is a very app heavy market. So my solution, which focuses on the mobile app, that's what I need to be talking there. Whereas Vietnam is more of a web heavy market. So I have to be talking more about my solutions which talk about web there. So there's a messaging layer on the top. Then the 3 pillars is like, number 1 is I have to drive demand. Like first thing which sales is looking from marketing generally is leads. I want leads, right? So I have to drive demand at different stages, like, maybe doing thought leadership, getting people in the funnel. From there, like, you have to basically so basically drive demand. Let's just conclude that drive demand. That becomes the number 1 thing. Like then, because if you have multiple countries, you have to have marketing plans for different countries, for different demand generation. Some of the demand generation you would like to do internally. Some of the demand generation you would like to do externally, like, with your industry partners, or maybe communities, or maybe, local marketing agencies and local bodies. So like That's your one piece to it, your demand generation. Okay, the second piece to it is, okay, now you have leads, but then you have to make sure that they're progressing in the funnel. Not that, okay, we have the leads, we're good. No, as I said, our goals are basically the end business. That, okay, this is the amount of money which we have to get, this is the amount of closures we have to get. So you have to make sure that the funnel is progressing, like, from MQL to SQL to now, whatever marketing cover is required on that side, you got to give that. Whatever sales enablement is required for that, you got to give that. So right, that becomes your second pillar. So drive demand. Then how do you do different initiatives which make sure that these leads are moving through the funnel and getting into the business, and we're getting the end business. And the third pillar, I would say, is your brand building, that which I was talking about. Brand, ultimately you want to build your brand so that you can grow quickly, people know you, you have faster sales cycle, you get more organic leads. So you got to be doing different things, like maybe doing a lot of PR, or partnering with different communities and partnerships, participating in awards, doing a lot of thought leadership in the market, right? Things like that to build, to drive demand. So I think that's how I look at it. On the top, you got to be thinking about like what message, how are you taking your organization, your brand to the market? Then you got to drive demand. Then you got to make sure that, okay, that's progressing. And there are a lot of initiatives within that, which I'm not talking about, of course, that's the main pillar. And then, okay, now you have the leads coming in, you have that's progressing, converting to business also. And then basically you want to build the brand, right? At the bottom, I'll put it, while you do all of it, it has to be very marketing and sales aligned, right? Marketing and sales aligned.
That's very important. Yeah.
Right. So that's the framework which I kind of generally follows. That's my strategy. But see here, one very important thing which I want to call out, which I missed when I went blank a couple of minutes earlier, like what I was talking about. I was talking about, okay, field marketing is different for a small and a mid-sized company. When you get into mid to large size company, there you're getting a lot of business from your existing customers. So what largely I've been talking about so far is when field marketers are focusing on the prospect side of the business, prospect marketing, right? You're expanding. But when you get big, you have a big piece of customer marketing, which also comes with it, right? Now, customer marketing is a different function altogether, technically, like product marketing, like demand generation, we'll call customer marketing would be a different function. But for a field marketer, for a regional marketer, to whom what matters is we have to grow the business in this market. Now that could be coming from customer. So that's where the field marketing will pitch in. And if you have a luxury of a separate customer marketing department, okay, you closely work with them. Otherwise, you kind of do the customer marketing yourself sometime, along with the product marketers, right? That because you want to make sure that you give that cover to the account managers, to the customer success team, and ultimately you are able to retain your customers. You're able to cross-sell, upsell your customers, right, and expand your business from there. So I think that's another big piece which comes to it when you are in a little mid to large enterprises.
Got it. I hope that was my, that was very clear. And that was my next question. Like, I was about to ask you, is customer marketing different from regional marketing? Because when I look up for field marketing in Google, a lot of people, confuse field with customer, field with regional. Like, it is all, they use these terms interchangeably, right? So I had this confusion myself, but this cleared this up. So thank you for sharing that.
So I'll add here. I totally know what you're talking about. Still, like, people call it region, people call it field, sometimes confuse it with product, with customer. I think it will still the way over the last few years, a lot of clarity has come up. Okay, this is demand generation, this is product marketing, right? I think that is still to come there in the industry, I'll say. Fun fact, we used to call it back in 2015 when we started doing field marketing for a year, we used to call it product marketing. That's funny, but we used to call that product marketing. Dude, we don't do product marketing. This is field marketing. Okay, let's very quietly rename the team from product marketing to field marketing.
I get it.
And to your question, right, customer marketing, how it comes in
a separate role
for the field. Right, that's a separate role, but for a field marketer, customer matters because you want to retain that revenue. You want to expand the wallet of, the share of your customer's wallet, which you're getting already. So that matters. So you don't look after the prospect marketing only. You're bothered about the customer marketing only. And see, in big companies,
makes sense.
In big companies, I'll give you a number, which is okay, which men don't quote by the percentage, but in bigger organizations, it's 60 to 90% of your business. Like my last organization, 80% of my business from the field which I was looking into, APAC, Middle East, Africa, was coming from customers. So imagine 80% of the business for the year is going to come from customer, and 20% is what we do all the prospecting in the world and get 20% of the part. Now, of course, that 80% is important, very, very important, 4x more important than 20% which we'll get, right? And that's where that focus on the customer from the field marketing team comes in.
Got it. Got it. And do you think startups should hire customer marketer at the beginning of the inception of the company, or should they wait for few months or few years and then start focusing on customer marketing? Like, what do you think of this?
Sure, absolutely. See, I feel, customer marketing, you need when you have customers, right? So if you're a very early stage startup, of course, you're going to have some customers. See, when you don't have depends. Customer marketing is one piece of the ecosystem, which is touching on the customer or probably helping on the retention. Customer marketing. Before that comes your product. Before that comes your customer success or client services team. Before this comes your account management. These are the roles which you want. So probably before customer marketer, what I would want to give them is a better account management, a better customer success role, which can make sure, which can work with them to make sure that they're getting the ROI, right? So I think those are the roles which comes first. And that's why customer success is another role which we are seeing exploding these days, right? Because that matters. Now companies from the very start are like, are more focused about the customer success piece, because if they are successful, they're going to stay. And that's the strategy, right? So I feel that, of course, those roles comes first, but then companies needs to be thinking more about customer marketers in little early stage. Once you have some customers, good, decent customer base, you must have, and which basically works with the sales and the client services team and provide that necessary air cover to make sure that they stay and they we further able to expand the business there, right? So I absolutely feel, and see, and we've seen, I'm very happy over the past 4-5 years now, customer marketing also, we see a lot of opening. Go 5 years back, didn't companies have customers? Didn't companies have thousands of customers? Where were customer marketers? There was no room. So I'm quite happy the way it is already evolving, and it has evolved over a couple of years, and how companies are understanding that retention is more important than acquisition, as you grow big. So, and for that you need customer marketer on the marketing side. So happy about how it's evolving, and absolutely feel that companies should get in there before, little early.
Great. Awesome. So my last question for you is the most interesting, I guess, for you. How frequently do you work with the sales team? Because you're talking about sales marketing alignment a lot in this video. So what are your maximum conversations like?
So, so 2 parts to it. How often do I talk? And then what are most of my conversations like? Okay, sure. So I feel approximately 30% of my day goes with sales every day. 30%, at least 30% of my day goes with talking to different sales team, different levels, different teams for different things. But at least 30% goes there, which is a big amount. What are we talking? We're talking about 3 hours every day, 2.5, 3 hours every day. That's a big amount. So that's the kind of frequency I have on average, number one. Number two, what kind of discussions? So again, there are very different layers of conversation you have. Because again, we're talking about field marketing as an end-to-end marketing role for the region. So there's so many talking which you have to be doing, right? Like my discussions with, I have discussion with the sales head of the region, let's say CRO of the region, who I very closely align with, chief revenue officer for that market, or you have the sales head for that market. So all our planning and strategy happens at that level, right? So my discussions with the sales head or CROs would be a lot about planning, about strategy, not talking about things for today, maybe talking about things for tomorrow, next week, next month, right? A lot of planning and strategy kind of happens there. Then if you go a little level down, then you will see a layer of direct sales team or account executives, as different companies call it, right? With them, you are connected, one, as I said, to know about the market, to know about what's happening. to know about how's the pipeline, how's our pipeline looks like. Okay, what are the needs? What are the planning for their country specifically, right? And there would be a lot of discussion about, okay, not just planning. Now these are the campaigns which are running. These are the events which are happening. There's a lot which happens to execute those marketing campaigns also, right? So you'll be you'll stitch to the sales team for all the marketing campaigns you're doing. You stitch pre, you stitch during, you stitch post once you have the leads. Okay. So I think a lot of discussions happen on that level. Then your discussion, then there's a third layer, which could be your SDRs and the managers of SDRs, right? The discussion on that side would be a lot more about, like, you know, the kind of leads we're getting, how they're progressing, not progressing, what kind of more sales enablement do team need, what kind of more content do team need, and things like that, whatever it takes to enable. So whatever it takes to enable them at the SDR level to get more meetings, say, like, you know, whatever is required for at the DS or account executive level to hit the business goals for those regions. And then, you know, of course, at the country, at the sales head at CRO level, it's a lot of planning and strategy discussion basically, which happens on a regular basis. So yeah, and then within the scene, I'm talking about like broad heads here. Within this, that the discussion can like goes from 5-year planning to also that, okay, we have an event which happening, why the social post is not up. Right, because okay, that's a social media team, but sometimes you become a face of the marketing for that region, right? So a lot of different variety of discussion happens. Sometimes I get confused between the roles of field marketer and other marketing functions. So yeah, I think that's how it is.
I think this is the most clear answer I've heard for, you know, sales marketing alignment question. I've asked this question to so many people during my interviews, but they've not given me such a clear answer. This was great. I think I'm gonna take out this clip
I have a thing to add there, as you're saying, right? Of course, a lot of discussions are like sales running after me. Why no leads? And there are a lot of discussions happen like me running after them. Why there is no conversion and why they're not progressing, right? So, right? I think it's a continuous. That's the partnership. That's a battle, and that's the partnership I'm talking about. And sometimes that makes me really excited about the role, like, because I love talking. You must have probably realized already by now. And I've been thinking, I have thought a lot about moving to sales in my past couple of years. And
I know.
Let's try sales, right? Now, but when I landed into field marketing, it basically a very marketing and sales kind of role, right? So you're talking, you're talking a lot to different internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. Yeah, so it's exciting. Absolutely.
Great. Awesome. This was a great session. We have reached the end of the episode. But before I wrap it up, let's do a quick rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
So, yeah, I have like a few questions to ask. Just give me answers from the top of your head.
Sure.
Great. Okay. So first question is, who do you follow the most on LinkedIn?
Okay, that's interesting. I don't have a name. I follow a lot of people. I follow a lot of people, but I don't have names. I probably have few names that okay, but I don't have one name. Like I go all over.
That's okay.
So, sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. Great. Next question. What's your favorite book or what's your favorite podcast?
Podcast. Yeah, podcast interesting. Podcast. Okay, so my favorite podcast is 7 Minutes by Clyde Lee Dennis. If you have heard about it, that's basically a self-improvement blog, and sorry, not blog, but a podcast, and it's like a 7 minutes episode, everything very crisp, 7 minutes on a certain topic, and I love it. Like I find that very refreshing, energizing, and that keeps me like centered sometime in this world of chaos.
Yeah, I know.
So 7
That's
minutes
a great recommendation.
by Clyde Lee Dennis. Yeah, absolutely. He hear that sometime. I'm sure you'll like it.
Great. Awesome. So last question is, let's say hypothetically you're getting your career started. So what would you tell to yourself?
Okay, so I'm back to basically scratch and then starting my career again. So what will be my advice to myself?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 things. Okay, first would be, again, okay, so my first advice would be basically talk more to people. around.
It's very important.
Community,
that's
number one. I think that gives you immense learning. Read more, write more. Not been doing, and again, funny, but this is something which I tell to myself even today, right? And I'm gonna working on it. Like now, talking more, maybe reading a lot more. But yeah, if I can go back to 13 years back, and if I start reading from there or talking to people from there, the way probably I'm doing right now, wow, I would be a very, 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 very different person. So I think, yeah, talk to more people around in the community. And as we're talking professionally, I'm saying talk to more marketers, basically, around. Like, gives you a very different perspective. Read more about it, write more about it. I think this is one thing which I will say. And second thing I'll say is, okay, second thing, which I even tell myself today, and going back also and tell the same, like have a better, basically, like, difference between your professional and personal life. Like we mix it up. We focus, like I have been focusing a lot more on my professional life, I sometimes feel, than my personal life, right? Like extra enthusiastic, which works, but which doesn't work, right? So if I can go back, I'll say, like, have a better balance between your personal and professional life. That's one big thing which is required, because every time you feel like, okay, these are the years, like I still feel today, this is my time, let's do my best, let's rock it. But again, I reflecting back, probably 5 years back also, I had the same time, this is my time, let's do that. But dude, in all that doing best at your work, I feel I've been missing out on things on my personal life. I could have done better with my health. I could have done better with my hobbies, which like, I wanted to dent. So yeah, I think that's one advice. Absolutely, I'll go back and give it to myself. I still do it and working on it. So yeah, I think these are the two things I have.
Great. Thank you. I loved it. Thank you so much for that. All right, so this is what I had for you today. I've exhausted all the questions. This was absolute fun. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, Gaurav. So I'll give your LinkedIn profile in the description so people can connect with you later. And if they want to talk about regional marketing, people can do that. So yeah, I'll give that. But yeah, overall, it was nice talking to you, Gaurav.
Absolutely. Same here, Sanjana. It was great talking to you. Thank you so much for inviting me here. And stay in touch.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.